it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Friday, which always means we have a live album ranking. And today we've got a band that's quite a favourite of one or two of us on the Thursday night panel, and that is Siouxsie and the Banshees. Formed in 1976 by Susan Valiant, but we know her as Siouxsie Sue, and bass guitarist Steve and Severin. Very influential to lots of people. The Times called the group one of the most audacious and uncompromising musical adventures of the post-punk era, and they're absolutely right. We've got the wonderful drumming of Budgie on there as well. You're not going to go far wrong. So in their career, they've only released 3 live albums, which is hard to believe, and all 3 are brilliant. One you can't get hold of today, but it is available on streaming, so you won't miss out. So we'll have a look at their 3 live albums. So coming in at number 3 is a live album that came out in 2003, but it was recorded in July of 2002 at 2 nights, 9th and 10th of July at London's Shepherd Bush Empire. Performing on here are Siouxsie Sue on vocals, Knox Chandler on guitar, Stephen Severin on the bass, and as ever on the drums we have Budgie. So this kicks off with 3 magnificent tracks from the Scream album. The first being Pure, second being Jigsaw Feeling, and probably one of Mike Vinyl Spiral's favourites, Metal Postcard, that we was talking about last night on the live stream because their performance on the Old Grey Whistle test. 3 great tracks from a really strong album. Then we jump into Red Light, which comes from the Kaleidoscope album, and then from Tinderbox we have Lullaby. And then we get another track from that album, Land's End. And then we get a song called I Could Be Again, which is actually a B-side of a song they did for the Batman Returns soundtrack, Face to Face. The brilliant Icon from Join Hands. I love that track. Then we go to one of my favourite albums, Juju. We've got Night Shift and the Fantastic Voodoo Dolly. I love them 2 tracks. Susie's vocal on the live versions are great. Then we go to a track called Trust in Me, and people are going, is that the Trust in Me from the Jungle Book? And it is absolutely right, it is. They did a cover of this on their cover album, which is fantastic, Through the Looking Glass. Susie's vocal on that, she's, you know, because it's the snake, I can't remember his name now, but she does a wonderful vocal on that, and it's much better. It's even better than the studio version. Then they play a tribute to George Harrison that had only died the year before, back in November 2001, and they do Blue Jay Way from the Magical Mystery Tour as a little tribute to him, which was quite nice. Then we have from Juju we have Monitor, and this album ends with Peep Show's track Peekaboo. Now, considering this is recorded in 2002, they're still as good, they're still performing. Excellent album, a good selection of songs from their career. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay, coming in at number 2 then is one of these BBC packages. It was a box set containing 3 CDs and DVD. Now, we won't talk about the DVD today because that's for another day. But it came out in June 2009, and it's just called At the BBC. Now, this is the one where the physical version is sold out. It's only available on audio streaming and media services. If you've got Amazon Prime, Music, iTunes, Spotify and Deezer, you can listen to it to your heart's content. So disc 1. Now these are all, a lot of these songs are from sessions on Radio 1. Now the first one from the 29th of November 1977. John Peel. I'm not going to tell you which albums are because it takes a little while. So that first session from 1977, we've got Lovin' a Boyd, Mirage, a Metal Postcard, Suburban, Relapse. The second bunch of sessions is again on John Peel, and this was done in February of 1978. You get the brilliant Hong Kong Garden, which is one of my favourites. Overground, Carcass, Helter Skelter. From 9th of April 1979, big guest on the John Peel show. I remember listening to these as a wee nipper under the bedclothes. So we've got Placebo Effect, Playground Twist, Regal Zone, and Poppy Day. So the next bunch are again John Peel, but this is from 81. I remember listening to these as well. Halloween, Voodoo Dolly, But Not Them, Into the Light. And then later in 81, they were on the Richard Skinner show. Arabian Nights, Red Over White, Head Cut, and Supernatural Thing. So that's the end of disc 1. Disc 2 starts off with some tracks from May 82 on the Kid Jensen show, Coal Mind, Green Fingers, Painted Bird, and Cascade. Back to John Peel in February 86 to do Candyman, Cannons and Land's End. And then Shooting Sun on the Janice Long show from 87, along with Songs from the Edge of the World, Litty Johnny Jewel, which I love, Something Blue. And then we go into a in concert recorded on the 11th of January 1980. So, sorry, 14th of November 1986, and it's at the Apollo Theatre in Oxford. They do Green Fingers, Bring Me the Head of the Preacher Man, Sweetest Chili, Cannons, Melt, Candyman, Land's End, Night Shift, 92 Degrees, Pull to Bits, Switch, Happy House, Cities in the Dust, The Last of My Heartbeat, which is another in concert. This one is at the Royal Albert Hall in 88. The Killing Jar, Christine, The Wheels on Fire, Something Blue, Rawhead and Bloody Bones, Carousel, Rhapsody, Skin, Spellbound, Hong Kong Garden. What a set. There is a DVD, but as I said, that's for another day. As ever, some great performances on the BBC from the band, so it's a perfect package. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.3. But my number one album, and I've loved this album since the first day I heard it. It's a double album released in 1983, and it was recorded at the Royal Albert Hall in 1983, and it's Nocturne. Siouxsie Sue, Steve Severin, Budgie, and on guitars as well, because he did go and join the band for a little while, Robert Smith from The Cure. So this little show opens up with a couple of singles that weren't on albums. The first being Israel, which I love, and one of my favourite songs by them. I know it's a Beatles song, but it's Dear Prudence. Absolutely wonderful song. Then we go to the Kaleidoscope album for a bit of Paradise Place. Terrific version. Then we have two tracks off A Kiss in the Dream House, Melt and Cascade. Super songs, performed well. When we do a B-side, now Pull to Bits is the B-side of Playground Twist. It's an excellent track. A couple of tracks from Juju, Night Shift and Sin of My Heart. Two of my favourites off the album. Back to the Kiss album, Slow Drive and A Painted Bird. From Kaleidoscope, Happy House. From the Scream, Switch, Spellbound from Juju, Helter Skelter, another Beatles song from the Scream. And then they do another B-side, the B-side of Christine, Eve White, Eve Black. And the show ends with a fantastic version of Voodoo Dolly from Juju. I think this is one of the best 80s live albums. The sound on it is brilliant. I mean, the Albert Hall is great for sound. Robert Smith on stage with them as well, playing guitar. Fine musician. Super album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 9.5. Great band. The DVD bit will come up in a pick and mix, I can assure you, because all the bits are on YouTube, so I can give a review of that at some stage. Okay, that's all for this one. Coming up next is a brand new album, and it's the brand new album from Hawkwind. There Is No Space For Us, number 37 in their catalogue. So join me for that. Bye for now.